Hi there, folks. Simon here. This is another one of those 2021 TAC Open Tournament matches. This is game two of fwwwwwibib versus alion02. fwwwwwibib in white, alion02 in black. Game one was a doozy, and it came down to the wire, and it was a lot of fun to watch. It was an excellent game, and this one is no different. It is also a fun game to watch. It was a blast, really, to just watch this play and see this game. And I definitely recommend, if you haven't seen the first game, go check that out. And without any further ado, let's jump right into game two of this tournament match. And here we go with game two of fwwwwwibib versus alion02, this time with fwwwwwibib as white and alion02 as black. Oh man, last game was so great. They took 13 minutes break and jumping right into this second game, and I can't wait to see what happens next. I'm imagining we're going to see a placement here at e4 for fwwwwwibib's standard Knights opening. He's taking a lot of time to play this move. I wonder what's going on. But man, that first game was great. I imagine we're going to see an absolutely excellent second game as well. As long as fwwwwwibib or I haven't disconnected somehow. That would be unfortunate. Yes, fwwwwwibib has disconnected, and so he's reconnected now, and he's good to play his move. But he lost, well, hopefully he's good to play his move. He's lost 45 seconds on the clock. Ooh, wow, that is unusual. Black playing way off to the side here. White's got momentum. Okay, black cutting that off. Interesting play from black here. I imagine we might see a capstone here at d3 from white. I think that capstone would be a great placement, and that's exactly what he does. Really strong because it furthers his vertical threat and also has this capstone ready to capture over onto c3 and ruin that vertical line that black has been building towards. And black just says, all right, fine, I'll do the same thing. I think we will likely see, yep, we did see the d2 placement here. This works for a couple ways. This works for that vertical threat that white has been building for this whole time. If black cuts it off, then white can shift gears and go towards c2 and just play for that horizontal threat. And I think that would work out pretty nicely, to be honest. And looks like he's going for it already. Already switching gears here, going for that horizontal, knowing that this vertical is basically lost. And gonna push for that horizontal threat. I like that. I like this move. I like the opening here. I think alion02 playing off to the side was really bizarre. Not playing close to white's line. That's definitely a risky play. I am intrigued to see how this one turns out. We are seeing this checkerboard pattern here, and when this collapses, whatever happens, there's going to be a number of captures going on there. I think white has the upper hand there, but we'll see where black plays. Black playing maybe here at a2 would stop that, or b1. b1 might be better since it would further that vertical threat that black has building. But this is a fun one. This is a fun one. alion02 taking his time on this turn. We noticed that he took quite a bit of time on the previous game and was down to 10 seconds on the clock for quite a few turns. And I imagine we'll be seeing something pretty similar if the game goes that far for this one. And I say if the game goes that far because, I mean, they just played basically an hour-long TAC game, so I imagine their minds are basically melted. Especially with how intense that game was, especially at the end. Whew, man. That was definitely a tough one. So their brains could be melted, and that could result in some suboptimal play from these two players. But so far, we're seeing some pretty strong plays, and they both have pretty good positions. I would definitely say white is in control here and has the better position. Black taking quite a bit of time here. alion02 is down to 14 minutes on the clock. Fwib's still above that 15-minute mark. And I think this is a good point in the game to take your time. Because some of these moves here in the next couple moves will really start either a snowball for one player or stop that snowball from happening and sort of keep the game even and engaging. Because if you mess up some of these moves here, between probably move 6 and 15, the game can be over very, very quickly. And nobody wants that. All right, another minute spent on the clock for alion02. He is taking this seriously, which is a good thing. All right, and we do see the C1 placement. Okay, I see what he's doing here. He's going for the most direct vertical threat he can possibly make. He wants to play up at D6 next and force white to make a capture. I see that. I like it. Instead, we see white now playing at A3. I'm kind of surprised we didn't see anything maybe like at F5, which would have been attack threat in the vertical direction for white. But we didn't see that. Instead, we see the A3 placement. Now, this is not attack threat for white, but it's really close to one. Black playing at D6 would still require white to make a capture, but white then would likely make that C2 plus capture to go for that horizontal line. Ooh, and we see black drop a wall here. Are we going to see F5? So F5 is tricky because F5 is both a vertical threat and a horizontal threat at the same time. In order to stop that, you've got to stop it up here. Probably by this capstone coming over onto E4. Or maybe this flat coming over onto E5, but probably not. So the capstone coming over here would probably be the best bet. But instead, we're seeing white play down at B1, content to keep building this position out and not force any movements from black. And that's commendable, and I'm sure that'll help him later on down the road. But it's not going to be immediate. And white is making the first threat here. And will we see B1 plus or maybe a B3 minus? B3 minus would be attack threat in the vertical direction and stop the vertical threat of black at the exact same time. I think that would be a really strong move. It would also keep this wall from coming down and capturing, and the wall would basically be stuck where it currently is. No, instead we see the capstone come over, and that is not a move I was expecting. I feel like that was kind of a blunder almost. That does not seem like a very good move to me. Is he seeing something that I'm not? I mean, look back at this position. I feel like B3 minus just checks all the boxes here. I mean, it doesn't make the horizontal threat, but it makes the vertical. It requires the capstone basically to come over. Keeps this wall from coming down onto it. Yeah, I like B3 minus a lot, but he goes for the capstone movement. Black's going to fill in here with a flat, which is kind of what you expected to happen. I mean, we could see maybe an F2 or an F3 or any of those to make a threat in the horizontal direction, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem particularly strong to me. Black comes down with that wall. Now, I did commentate recently a game of Fwibs, and I believe alion02 was with me on that game. And in the second game that he played in that match, it just seemed like he was playing some just not great moves, to be honest. No other real way to say it, but they didn't seem like very good moves. And maybe the length of that first game sort of melted his brain a little bit. Or maybe he's seeing something better that I'm not seeing, which is also probably more likely, as Fwib is a much better player than I am. Clearly. I mean, he's ranked #1 in the tournament, and I am struggling to stay top 10. All right, so we get now attack threat from white, bringing this capstone over to stop the attack threat from black. Black was making that vertical threat. White then brings that capstone over to the right to stop that vertical threat and also to make his own horizontal threat. Black can stop this here by coming down with the wall, coming over with C1, coming up with C1, coming up with D1, coming left with E2. A lot of different options that black has here. Black can also come over, but that seems like a really bad move. But, you know, all viable. Coming up with E2. All of these are totally viable moves that stop the white horizontal threat. So sometimes that can be challenging because when you have tons and tons of moves that can stop the threat, it's harder to decide which one is best. But when you only have 1 or 2 moves, it's a lot easier to take your time and think, okay, which move is the right one here? And then just kind of go pros and cons on both of them, play out those 2 lines. But when you have 8 lines to play out in your head, it's a lot harder to be sure. And so I definitely feel for him on this one. He's got a lot of options to consider and a lot of time to take here. But instead, he decided to go for that B2 to the right move, which furthers his own tack threat and stops white's tack threat. So I like that move here. B2 right does make his vertical tack threat happen. White's got to stop that somehow. And does not want to place a flat here at C3. That would be bad, as it would allow this wall to come over. Oh no, that's not too bad because the wall doesn't have a black flat to go on top of. Never mind, it's not that bad. White flat going there is totally fine. I thought I saw something else that was a lot different and would have posed a big problem, but it doesn't. It's all fine. Oh man, this is such a good game. Such a good match, really. All right, let's see. We've got, for black, no tack threat for white. I'm really surprised by some of these earlier moves from Fwib. But I'm not really sure. There are too many options right now for black to continue threatening in a good way. I mean, if he brings C4 minus, then we're just going to see probably a wall on C4 from white. And if he doesn't smash it immediately, it'll come down onto C3. If he does smash it immediately, the capstone might come left onto C3. Now, what I think is interesting, I'm looking also here at the potential for white. So we take a look. If white, let's say black doesn't make a tack threat on this next turn. Doesn't make, for example, the C4 minus capture. If white plays maybe at F5, that builds towards that vertical threat. White can't make the vertical threat right away, but let's say white captures over with B1 onto C1. Black can't capture with D1, has to come down with C2. So white's filling in first, making this horizontal tack threat. Black's got to stop that somehow. If they stop it by a C4 minus, stops it with the wall spread. And that was after the F5. Man, I missed it. How did I miss all those moves? Okay, so he places here at C3. Black plays at F5, does play at F5 to stop white from playing there. White then plays at B2. Then, in order to stop white from making that horizontal tack threat, black brings that wall over onto C3. Not bad. Not bad. Maybe Okay, so white plays now at f4. What is going on here? White also, we'll take a look here. White has not made a single flat-on-flat capture this whole game. No liabilities for black to take advantage of. White may be also looking to fill in here at b3 at some point soon so that they can capture over, maybe with d2 without worrying about the wall coming down. Sure, c1 would come up, but I think that's fine because then b2 can come right and that saves it. But yeah, interesting position here for sure. Probably wants to fill in first at e6, but black already did that. Now e5 coming right wouldn't do much for him. Plays at f2, going for this vertical threat now. He wants to fill in at f1 and then go for something up here, try to make some collapse happen that works in his favor and gives him an anchor point at that top edge. I still really like white's position here. Let's take a look at the flat count. I'm sure black's ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 12 for black because of the 2 Comey. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 for white. So they are even in terms of flats, which is pretty nuts at this point in the game. Only 18 turns in. Black, I guess, is 1 up if he places a flat on this turn, as it would give him 13 to white's 12. Again, white does, however, have the opportunity to, at some point, recover this flat underneath c2 and make some positive flat count differential moves. Some potential. Now, also, white, of course, wants to smash this wall here at c3. Cannot do that, as it would lead to a road for black. And black is fine keeping this wall stack here as long as he's got that potential road. Now, if at any point white decides to take e5 left and capture, then whatever black does, white is totally fine to smash that. So white, in response to black's wall down here, white just fills in at e1. Black captures up onto f2. And white can renew the tag threat by making a capture up here, or something along those lines, something else maybe. Potentially e1 left would also be something that would work here. No, now he's just going to build up to the left for that vertical line up there. This is really interesting. And this makes sense too because black is in a position where he can start making a horizontal threat up here. And so white wants to have some pieces up in that area. But now, I don't think black was focused on that too much. But now that white's building up here, he took notice and now sees, oh, hey, I can start something up here in this direction. And that's not too bad. White playing there preemptively, that's a smart play, I'd say. Maybe an a5 placement to make the threat and also force the capture. Yeah, I don't think this is, like, it's kind of dangerous here for white because of black's potential threats, but it's not something that he can't stop. If there's any sort of capture war that occurs, a wall drops, and then that's the end of that. This is an interesting game. It's turning out very different from the first game that they had together. Although, I mean, both games are turning out to be pretty interesting. fwwwwwibib has taken a very different approach in this game, and I find that fascinating. Okay, and we did see that b5 plus move. Black making the tack threat. White stopping the tack threat, making their own vertical tack threat. Maybe white was hoping to draw black's attention onto this side of the board, cut that off from this side, and have black not realize that this was a vertical tack threat. I don't think that that he expects that to happen. Ooh, and I was looking at that wall throw move. So the wall throw is nice because it brings this wall close to the f5 stack, which can be pretty dangerous now. Now it's able to make some positive flat count differential moves. White sees that, says, all right, fine, I'll drop my own wall so I can capture onto b6 and make my positive flat count differential moves. This is a solid match for sure. And I like that when the wall comes up onto b6, it's able to spread across and cut off the vertical threat that black has going on, and then white's free to smash the c3 wall and do some work with that. But I like, before smashing that wall, if there's a possibility, any room in the momentum to drop a b3 first, oof, that would be perfect. Very tricky position here. I'd say white still has the upper hand at this point. Also, we take a look at the time here. Just under 15 minutes for fwwwwwibib, 5 minutes for alion02. Taking his time here, and that is tricky. All right, looks like black playing here. Okay, I understand that. Black played at b4 because he knows that once this wall comes up, if he didn't have a defense ready, this wall stack coming over could be a very nasty threat. But I think you really want to worry about the spread to the right more than anything else, right? That seems like the danger move to me. Now, what can his response be here? He could capture up onto this f5 stack, ready to make some positive flat count differential moves, but he doesn't have the opportunity to make as strong of a move as white does. White can make a +3 move. After black captures up here, he can only make a +2 move. And if you're wondering, what are you talking about? +1, +2, +3, what is that? You can check out the flat count differential video on TAC University, and that'll explain these positive and negative flat count moves and what those mean in terms of the flat count differential, or FCD. All right, black just goes ahead and fills in at e5. I understand that. That makes sense. White fills in now at b5, makes their vertical tack threat, moving these top two pieces from b6 to either the left or the right would be a road. That is a drawbridge threat, as it is sometimes referred to in the community. And Not particularly strong because b4 left can now cut that off, or a6 minus can cut that off, either way. But it is there. And white was able to make that threat just by dropping a flat. Didn't need to make any captures. Was able to just continue placing to make those threats. And if b4 left happens, white can place b3 under the auspices, I'm using that word wrong, that it's to continue this vertical threat. Black can fill in here, and then white can smash. At this point, I think b3 is the play. b3 is the play. Oh no, he plays at b4 instead to keep black from building for this horizontal threat, I guess. Also makes sense. Oh yeah, because that would have been particularly bad if he didn't play there first. Never mind. That was a great, great play. Black dropping a wall because he needs to. He needs to. Now, if white makes that b4 left capture that of course he wants to, that wall immediately comes over onto a3, and that's not a good position for him. White wants to keep placing and keep making solid moves for himself. Plays at c5. I like that play. And if we take a look here, white is going for that board fill. Only 3 spaces open right now on the board. Black's going to be forced to make some captures unless he wants to lose to flats prematurely. Let's take a look at the flat count right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 14 for black. Actually, this might be pretty good for black. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 for white. Wow, that's not too bad at all. So I think now it is 14-14 in terms of flats because black did just make that wall capture. 14-14 in terms of flat count. White has a +2 move available now with this stack. White has a +3 move. Black has this +2 move. White fills in now at a1. Not attack threat, but pretty dang close to one. Didn't really affect anything since this threat was already there, existing, but yeah. Fortifies this position, also starts filling in. Still 3 spots open. 3 spots open. White is going for that board fill. Thinks he can force that. And if he can force the board fill, he can win. If not, he's only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 reserves left. White can probably take this game unless black comes up with something spectacular. And, I mean, he came up with some pretty incredible moves last game, so that's not out of the question. Definitely not out of the question here. We will likely be seeing some desperation moves from black in the next couple turns, just because, I mean, he's down below 2 minutes on the clock. He knows he's behind on flats. He knows he needs to make some tack threats if he wants to win this. He also knows he can't be placing too many more stones without making some captures first because he is going to lose on a board fill if he does. So I think we'll be seeing some interesting moves here from black pretty soon. Oh, this is where white likely going to fill in here at f1. Oh, no, he can't fill in at f1. If he fills in at f1, black can probably take the draw. Let's take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13 for black. Sorry, 15, because the 2 call me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15, 15. If white plays here for 16, black plays for 16, and they tie at and so I don't think Fwib wants to take a draw here. I think he wants the win. I think he wants the win. And so we may be seeing this +3 move here at the top pretty soon. It's happening earlier than Fwib wants, but it's happening. Oh no, he made the +2 move instead. I am surprised by that. because black also has a +2 move. Granted, this is an annoying +2 move because black now has to capture to save this, likely with 2a4 minus, potentially with b3 plus. I'm surprised he went left instead of the right with that. That is surprising. Okay, so he did bring the wall up. Now, what will white do? Will he place? Because now he can place and go for that board fill, and he's ahead. Let me take a look and make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 for white. Sorry, now 16 for white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Plus 2 is 14. And he can make one +2 move to bring him to 16. That would be 16, 16, but white is going to flat out first. I think. Maybe. I don't know. This is tricky. This is tricky. So black, if he wants to try and make this draw happen, if he wants to make the draw happen, he needs to capture up, but then white has the +2 move here. Black's now just going for a threat. He's making an attack threat here, hoping that maybe white doesn't see it. If white plays a flat here, that should stop it. And it'll also be a horizontal threat of their own. Wait, was it also a threat? No, it wasn't also a threat, but... yeah, so white does fill in at c3. Stays ahead on flats, pretty sure. Alion02 down to 30 seconds left on the clock. I'm going to make another count just because I'm going to be sure. fwwwwwibib has plenty of time to count. Alion02, not so much time to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 for white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14 for black. White's just going to keep filling in here. Unless black has something special up his sleeve. This looks to be over. Black down to 15 seconds on the clock. fwwwwwibib still just under 14 minutes. Coming down close. 5 seconds left. fwwwwwibib only has 3 reserves left. What was that move? 3f5 plus. He makes the +2 move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So he's got 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. White has 15. He needs to make now this +2 move with this white flat, or a +3 move with this white flat stack across before he can finish. Then that wall comes back, and I'm not sure how... yeah, I think the +2 move is fine. Just f3 plus, I think, is enough to salvage it for white. And then if black wants to recapture this, he's got to do it by throwing this wall stack over, because he'll lose the flat war on f4 either way. So I think just the +2 move is fine, but fwwwwwibib has plenty of time to calculate that and think about that ahead of time. Alion02, not so much time to calculate. He's going to be using fwwwwwibib's turn to count all these flats. And I'm going to count yet again just to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15 for white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 for black. So if white plays here, that's 16. And then black will fill in for 16 and get the draw. So white needs to make this capture first. Just f3 plus. Just one f3 plus. And then he can start flatting out and win. That should work. Because if he does that, and black comes down, white comes over, black brings the wall stack down. Oh, but he's still got 3 reserves left. It might not work out too well. This wall stack is going to be able to come down. It'll have to release a white flat here to do it, but it'll be able to make up some of that in advance. I don't know. It's hard for me to look at this without PTN Ninja. I have a hard time with that, to look that far ahead in stack play without PTN Ninja. So here we go. He did make that +2 move. Alion down to 5 seconds, 3. Okay. And then the black flat comes down to capture. Will we see E4 left or E4 right to capture it back? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So he's got 14 with a +2 move available. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 for white. So yeah, so if he plays down here, for example, that's... Oh, he's playing. That's going to give him a draw. He needs to be capturing this. Why didn't he capture? Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. White's got 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So black's got 15, white has 15. White fills in for 16, then black fills in with 16. And that's a draw, and that's not what we want here, right? I think white noticed that, but he's going for this. Okay, this makes sense now. He knows he'll be able to make the move here and come out on top of this exchange because this wall stack can't come down or he loses to erode. And white can capture here. And then black has to drop a wall here at D2 to stop that from happening. The wall is dropped. And I think this is where we might see this whole stack get tossed. Although Nohat Coder is saying that A5 minus wins here in the Twitch chat. He's saying A5 minus would be a winning move. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think that would force a positive exchange for white. If it wouldn't end in a road, then it would definitely end in him winning the flats. So yeah, I would agree with that. And Nohat saying this also wins, so I trust his judgment here. This wall comes down. What is this? 1, 2. White plays a flat. Yeah. Now anything that happens, even if this wall captures, white just flats out and wins. Oh yeah, white can now smash C3. It's no longer pinned. He totally can. But white can also just play a flat and win, right? Not anymore. He can't smash now. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that's 14 for white. 15 to 13. White takes the second game in flats. That was an epic second game too. Really, really well played here from alion02. Really well done. alion02 down to crazy amounts of low time. I mean, look, it says 15 seconds is how much time he has, which means that he was down to 0 seconds when he played his move. When he captured over, he had 0 seconds to get 15 seconds added to his clock. So definitely strapped for time. Really, two really fantastic games here. Well done, Fwib. Well done, alion02. Those were great games. Congratulations to Fwib for winning those. Also, congratulations to alion02 for playing well enough to really give Fwib a challenge here. So that's awesome. But anyway, that was a fantastic match. I'm really glad I got to watch that. And thanks everybody for tuning in. Be sure to check out the description below for all things TAC, especially the TAC Discord server, which is the community hub and where you can find all things TAC, especially the asynchronous games and people to play with online on playtac.com, all sorts of things. There's just tons and tons of content out there. So check that out, and until next time, have a great day and happy tacking.